sessions. Today, all you will need is this foam roller and you. So, to get started, we will get right into it. We will start with my favorite, hip raises. Tuck the pelvis, flatten the back, squeeze your butt, lift it up off the floor. We're gonna go through 10 repetitions. A little slower on these next 5. Remember, lowering from the top down, 1 segment at a time. Retuck, bring it back up to the top. 2 more. Last one. All right, up into the dead bug. So I'm gonna come up into like a tuck hold-ish type position. Then I'm gonna separate my feet and knees a little bit, and then the bug. 20 total. Five more. All right, now single leg bridge. I'm gonna pull this knee back as far as I can in my chest, squeeze this heel close to my butt as I can, and I'm gonna lift up. I'm gonna hold for 5 breaths. One more time. Bring it all down to the bottom. Switch sides. I'm gonna pull my other knee back to my chest, squeeze it into me, lift up from the other side. 5 breaths. One more. Right, back to the floor. Flip it over. We're gonna go into a lizard pose, lizard stretch. So foot out in front, hands here. You guys, if you wanna go ahead and grab the foot, go for that. Get a little bit of a bigger quad stretch. If not, hang here. Got about 20 more seconds on this side before we switch. I'm gonna grab my foot for this last little bit. Switching sides. So it'll be about a minute on this side. I think for this first 30 here, I'm gonna hang in this position. Keep breathing. For the next 30 seconds, I'm gonna grab the foot. About 15 more seconds. Squeezing the butt, trying to tuck the pelvis here too. All right, so I'm gonna bring this foot back, drop into a little bit of a cobra. I'm gonna look up towards the ceiling and squeeze my butt. Breathe in, 5 breaths. Two more. Rocking back, child's pose. 3 breaths. All right, I'm gonna grab the foam roller for the first time. We're going to be rolling out the side of the rib cage for a minute on each side. So I am working through the back of the shoulder, armpit, front of the chest, grab a little bit of that pec, working down the rib cage, right? Thinking about your scapula going after the serratus, behind the shoulder, deltoid. Work around that whole rib cage. Anytime you have to use your hands or your legs, keep pressure off the foam roller. Use those hands and legs, do what's tolerable, but you gotta do it. Got about 20 seconds left on this side. Keep going. Play with some different hand, arm positions, even from a bent elbow. See what that feels like. Arm behind head, both hands overhead. Really lean into it. All right, switching sides. So again, behind the shoulder, armpit. I'll stop talking, we'll be here for about 1 more minute. Just like the other side. About 20 seconds. All right, so now to the side, or to the back rather. I'm gonna start right below my shoulder blades. I'm going to stay here for the whole set. I'm going to do 10 T-spine extensions. The goal is going to be maintaining relatively flat or neutral spine here at the lumbar. Keep that rib cage down as best as you can, technically. We do want to extend here, so there's going to be some movement here. What you want to feel is that to get back as far as you can, that you just don't pop up this rib cage and start leaning back, and you just don't throw the head back, because that's easy and that's not what we're focused on. We're focused on extension right here through the cage. So hands behind head, support the head to keep the chin in. You know, hold on to that pelvis a little bit, squeeze your abs, and then slowly start to extend. Take it as far as you feel like you're going to take it, and then treat it like a baby crunch to come back to the top. I'm going to do 9 more reps. You guys follow along. Breathe in, exhale, back to the top. You can flare out those elbows a little bit as long as it doesn't hurt your shoulder at all. Got about 4 more. Squeeze your abs. Try to keep that chin in as best as you can. 2 more. All right, now I'm just going to take a couple long passes through my upper back, mid back, arms overhead. If that bothers you, arms here, even arms behind the back are okay sometimes. Now, rotation. So, squeeze the foam roller between your thighs. We're going to start with this to open book. So I'm going to open the book this way and then close it down. I'm going to do 10 per side. Squeeze the foam roller. Keep that abdominal activity. Sometimes, or most times, when I'm in the open book position here, I like to think that when I come back across, I'm contracting across here, you know, from this shoulder all the way across to my bottom hip. So when you come in, think squeeze across like this. I'm gonna do 4 more, squeeze across. Switch. Now again, squeeze that foam roller, open it up. And now here I'm going to be thinking about from this, my right side, down to my left hip, 10 times. Three more. Now, continuing with the foam roller, I'm going to go back into a bridge position again. This time, squeezing the foam roller. You want to make sure your feet aren't too wide here. You don't want them real close either, just right underneath the knees, in line with the feet, in line with the hips rather. Squeeze that foam roller like you wanted it to pop. And the idea is that, again, you want to feel your adductors firing up here, right? So I'm squeezing my butt, pressing into the foam roller. And we're going to hold this bridge position for 30 seconds. Just try to breathe into that belly, squeeze, butt, abs, inner thighs. Squeeze and focus on your breath. Got about 15 seconds left. All right, that's it there for that one. Flipping over. I'm going to start with a little straddle stretch, half straddle. So foot goes out. Let's sit back as far as we can on our elbows, 30 seconds. $15 seconds. Okay, we're switching. Other side, foot flat and straight, lock back on the knee, get down on those elbows, sit it back, squeezing this quad. $15 seconds. All right, back to the top. So now we're going to go into full standing straddle. Hands on the floor, support the body weight mainly with the upper body. Try to let that lower body relax. $15 seconds. All right, let's come back up. We're going to do a little bit more movement. I'm going to move forward a little bit and hopefully I stay in the frame. We're going to go into a split lateral lunge position here. We're just going to work it in static side to side, right? I'm going to go through about 10 reps. I'm a little bit out of the frame, I apologize. So now we're going to go from these flat feet, right, and try to turn this into more of a Cossack squat. So what I'm going to do is start to pull this toe up. Again, if you need to put your hands on the ground for some support here, make sure this heel stays down, and then come up over the top and sit into the other side. Try to keep the spine nice and straight. Weight fully in the whole foot, but again, make sure the heel's not coming up. Again, if the hands have to be on the floor here, that's okay to guide yourself down. We're gonna do about 3 more like this. And now we're gonna stay down here, use the hands, and crawl across the bottom, 10 times. That's 1. Walk it across. 2, again, if you have to be higher and hold on to something, that's cool. Everyone's got to start somewhere. 3. 4, heel down. 5, chest up. Push it across. 6, stay low. 7, 8, 9, last one, and 10. Now, back to the floor, back to the foam roller. We're going to do a different version of that T-spine rotation. Again, 10 times on each side. Again, squeezing the foam roller, ankles flexed, 90 degrees, hands here. Now what I'm going to do is start to internally rotate my shoulder a little bit. My thumb is going to come down towards the floor, right? So as I come overhead, thumb's going down towards the floor, palm opens, back of the hand is down, and then I close the book just like the other one. So I'm going to trace with my thumb around the top, close it down here. 8 more. Four more. Keep squeezing the foam roller. Last one. All right, switching sides. Same story. 90 degrees. Squeeze the foam roller. Trace it across the floor. Close the book. Keep squeezing that foam roller. About 5 more. One more. All right, so we're going to stay in the same position. I'm going to continue, squeeze this foam roller, and now we're going to work a little bit of hip internal rotation. Make sure at the lower back you feel like you're relatively neutral. You don't want to be too tucked under and definitely don't want to be overarched. What I'm going to do is, again, squeeze into both sides of the foam roller, and then this foot is going to rotate up as high as I can, and then bring it back down. We're going to work this for 30 seconds on each side. Take your time. If you get any pinching in here, you might want to try tucking your pelvis maybe a little bit more and see if that takes it away. About 15 seconds left on this side. Some things like this you want to do for time. You just want to focus on the quality of your movement, and then ultimately, depending on what your goal is, the time under tension, the time that you're doing it for, is a good way to figure out when it's enough. Switching sides. 30 seconds again. Squeeze the foam roller. Rotate that foot up towards the ceiling. All right, that's it for those internal rotations. Now we will foam roll the adductors. This is going to go straight, long ways. Put the inside of your thigh. Again, I like to try to stay flexed at the hip here as best as I can. With a bent knee, I'm going to work the whole inside of my thigh. I'm going to do 1 minute on each side. When you want to put more pressure into that leg, Lift up the opposite side. And really, again, try to just lean more of your weight into the roller. Try to get as high up in your hip as you can. And work down the inside of that thigh. You can also take this out into a straight leg. See what you're working with there. You got about 30 seconds left on this side. This is another one too, where we can be in this position and then come back and try to work a little bit of internal rotation out here as well. So let's do a couple reps before we move it on to the other side. All right, let's do that now. Let's move it over. Again, it'll be about 1 minute. We'll throw in some of those extra hip internal rotations there towards the end. You know, we're going to work through that straight leg as well. You got to find out where your restrictions are. Again, let's try some of those internal rotations in this, more restricted position. That's it for that foam roller for now. We are all going to go into a little bit of a plank now. So 30 seconds on the elbows. Keep the elbows underneath the shoulders. We're not going to cross the arms today. We're going to turn the palms up. Feet take totally together in the back. Tuck the pelvis. Squeeze your butt. Squeeze your abs. Here we go. 30 seconds. Got about 10 seconds left. All right. Going back to that lizard. I'm gonna go right into grabbing the foot, going into that quad stretch. I'm going with the opposite hand and foot. 30 seconds. I'm going to take it down to the elbow. If you can get on the elbow, drop it down. If not, you can stay up on the hand. About 15 more seconds. All right, switch it. Flip it around. Same idea. I'm going to start by grabbing the foot, opposite hand, hand on the floor. I'm going to get right down on this elbow now. It'll be about 30 seconds. About 10 more. All right, putting that foot back, getting it up. So now, put one knee down, this foot out at the side. I'm gonna put a hand down on the floor, and now I'm just gonna try to reach over the top as far as I can towards the floor, and the stretch I'm looking for is going to come somewhere here along the sides. Once you're in that position, you feel that tension wherever it is, you're going to try to inhale into that, and when you exhale, you're going to try to reach a little bit further. Make sure on this side, we're not sinking down in here, you're constantly pushing this shoulder down, constantly pushing yourself up. So assuming the position, reaching over, you're going to breathe in, exhale, and try to go a little bit further without dropping down like this. So I'm pushing up, but still trying to reach over the top. It's been about 20-30 seconds now. We're gonna stay on this side for about another 30 seconds. Then we'll switch it over and do a minute there. Just be breathing. Okay, bring the hand back, bring the foot in, sit it up, the other foot goes out, hand gets down to the post position here, and then we're up over the top, 1 minute, lots of breathing. We got about 30 more seconds. Fifteen more seconds. All right, this hand will come back to the floor. Let it quickly rock back through a child's pose. All right, sit back as far as you can, reach out your arms. 5 breaths here. One more. Up into that cobra position again. I'm lifting my chest up, looking up at the ceiling, squeezing my butt. All right, we're going to keep it going here. Going to something they call the goalie stretch, or at least a version of it. The version that we're going to do today is going to have both feet together like this in the back. Pull your knees apart as far as you can. Let's get down the elbows. And then I just want you to start rocking back and forth. If you get any discomfort in the knees, you may just have to play with the positions of your feet in the lower leg. You may find that, out here will be a much more restricted position. It'll be a lot more challenging to your flexibility, but it might also hurt your knees. So you may find that if you pull them in like this, you're gonna go further, and it's just a different stimulus, let's say, or a different restriction you'd be working against. But again, you're not gonna have any hotness in the knees. It's still better to get in this position. So again, you can try both positions like this. Squeeze into the floor, squeeze your butt and abs to get a little PNF action, and relax back into it. Big breathing here still, just like everything else. Keep moving, play with the pelvis position, tuck the pelvis, round the back a little bit, bring the arch back, move around here. We'll stay down here for about 20 more seconds. Friends, that's it for today's session. We'll be back again on Thursday. If you like this, if you had a good time, you got a little more flexible from this, please subscribe, like, comment, share with a friend.